Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, beautiful souls. Welcome to another video. I know it's been a minute since I last posted, but I realized, so I tried out the pick a cards. You'll see that in the past few videos I tried, but it didn't feel aligned with me. I know it's a very popular medium for a lot of tarot readers on this platform, but I tried it and it was just so draining for me. And I realized I wasn't being authentic to myself, which my readings tend to be me shuffling a bunch of cards or very little cards and having a message that flows through as needed. So if you enjoy that type of reading, definitely subscribe, and we're gonna just get right into it. But I can already tell that this reading may have more of a message of just being aligned with yourself, being authentic. And I think we tend to misconstrue what authenticity means. I really think it's about living in your highest truth, living in a way that brings you joy and not being bothered by what everyone else is doing, right? It's very easy to get distracted by what everyone else is doing, especially when they're succeeding at it and they're doing well with it, and you want to try the same thing just because other people are doing it and wondering why it doesn't work for you. And honestly, I feel like that is very true for me and a lot of the things that I've tried. Just realizing how I may be inspired by people. I definitely get inspired by seeing people living in their purpose. I am super inspired by that. But then when I see people who are just copying, and you can tell because there's no soul in it, there's no energy in it, there's no desire in it, and it's just blah, and it's like it doesn't feel the same. So align yourself with what feels energetically right for you, and don't be afraid to flow. So for example, with me doing tarot, I've had periods where I want to do tarot readings and I feel completely comfortable doing it, and there are other days and there are other times when I do it and it doesn't feel right. So I allow myself to flow. Sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's a few weeks, but I allow myself to be responsive to the energy of it. So if 1 month it works and it feels like a lot of messages are coming through, great. But then I may need a break to kind of reconnect with myself, and then I come back again for another few months and it flows that way. So whatever it is that you may be maybe you're dealing with like a creative blockage right now, and it may feel like you're not flowing in the way that you used to. Maybe you're an artist or a writer or you're a business owner and it feels like things have stopped. Take a break. And that might seem super cliche, but take a little bit of a break. Detach. Connect with yourself again, and you'll be amazed by how much comes through. I actually kind of did this because I traveled to Washington, and it was an entire month of just driving and traveling, and so many downloads came through for me, and not even related to this, but it was like a revitalization of my energy and my focus and clarity. So don't be afraid to step away from the thing that you're fixating on or focusing on for the sake of finding clarity. Okay. So that card popped out really quickly. Okay, so we have reassess. Okay, you're being asked to take stock of your life and let go of anything or anyone that no longer makes you happy. Notice who and what bring you joy and who and what don't. It's time for some life cleanup. So exactly what I was saying. Okay, we have another one that came off. We have resolution. Whatever it is that you've been struggling with is about to be resolved. Remember that resolutions don't always happen in the way we hope or want, but being able to move forward and start fresh always brings relief. All right, let's see if anything else comes up. Okay, I think this one is done just because all my cards went like everywhere. But exactly as I was saying, it's about reassessing, it's about detaching and then reassessing. finding comfort in knowing that whatever it is probably still going to be there when you get back, right? And if it isn't, maybe it wasn't meant to be in the first place. So yeah, I think a lot of times we're afraid to let go. We're afraid to detach because we hold on so strongly, especially when I feel like it has to happen this way, or the universe has to meet me in this way. And it's like, no, right? Detaching from everything, detaching from, not like emotionally detaching or being like a lifeless person, but it's like detaching from the outcome and allowing yourself to just accept it as it is, accept the situation as it is currently and as it will be. Whatever happens was happening for a reason, and whether it's good or bad and how I see it in this moment, a few months from now, a few years from now, I might look back at it and be grateful for it. I know that doesn't apply to every single thing. I am trying to be cautious because I know there are definitely situations and experiences that are so traumatic that definitely don't feel like they serve a purpose. But just accepting in the grand scheme of things that everything that has happened and everything that will happen is serving a purpose on your path. Whether it is to shift your path, whether it is to bring you clarity on the path that you're on or give you like a detour, but it all serves a purpose for you. All right, so I'm going to shuffle my numerology cards really quickly. Let's see what comes out. All right, so we have 55, adventure. So some of you may need to go on an adventure to reconnect with yourself. For me, it was traveling. For you, it might be doing something you've never done before. Being reckless, being spontaneous, I think those moments are truly the biggest indicators of just like how free we can be, even especially when you're feeling trapped. Like getting out of that thing, whatever it may be, is the key, right? Okay, so we have perseverance as well. Recognize that even when you are taking a break, it isn't giving up. And for some of you, you may come out of that break and say, okay, this is something I have to release, but it's not giving up. It's recognizing that as long as you are in a mind space to stay focused on something or to want something to work out, you are persevering. And in another scheme, some of you might be persevering too much to your own like downfall. Like you are trying so hard and holding on so hard that you're just bringing yourself to your downfall. And again, learning to let go, learning to detach, it's definitely not a simple thing, especially depending on the circumstance. But like when I say that detachment is the ultimate form of peace, it truly is. Because, for example, I have a lot of debt, right? I have a lot of things that need to be paid off, and I recognized pretty early on into my journey, once I left my job, was that I could spend all that time worrying about that circumstance, worrying about each and every bill and each and every circumstance, and just being like stressed every single day. I could also spend the same amount of time doing the things that I enjoy and living my life, because I recognize that worrying is not going to change my outcome. It's not going to change, my ability to pay my bills. All it would do is force me into spaces that make me grossly uncomfortable and bring me into misalignment, and maybe might bring me into applying for jobs and going into structures and corporations that don't align with who I am and don't align with my values, and being overworked and being overstressed and cutting my lifespan shorter and shorter daily, just because I would be trying in my own strength to pay off those debts. And I can say that because that was my life for a long time. Even before the debt, that was my life, and it was not fulfilling. It was not helpful. It was numbing. And now to be in a space where I can choose and decide what I get to do with my day and what I get to do with my time and where I get to direct my energy and my emotions, I choose every single time to direct my emotions towards the place that makes me happy. And this has been a real conscious thing. Even when I feel those thoughts of, well, for one, it's definitely much less now, but like when I feel those thoughts of like stress or anxiety coming up, I release them immediately and I refocus on the things that will help me grow and help me become better. So yeah, that has helped me tremendously, and that might help you. Let me see if anything else wants to come out with. Alright, we have 96, forgiveness. Forgiveness. For some of you, it's about forgiving yourself. There may be something you're holding on to because you feel like you are to blame for things going bad, or that you have to hold on to this thing, or whatever it may be. But there's something you need to forgive yourself for. Like, your healing and your ability to move forward is going to come from you forgiving yourself. A lot of times we believe that we have to forgive others, and sometimes it is that, but forgiving yourself is just as crucial and just as necessary in order to be able to move forward. All right, so I'm gonna shuffle from my shadow and dark mirror oracle. Queen of my world, a woman in the red dress, and it's a full moon. Queen of my world. Honestly, this gives me the energy of what I just said about forgiveness. Like, you are so focused on something, you've put something on a pedestal for you that is hurting you, that is harming you, or you're so focused on this thing or this person that you can't see anything else around you, and that is where the downfall is coming. So a lot of you need to shift your focus, shift your energy, release. Full moon, release someone or something that is not serving you. And these messages are going to keep coming up in different forms with each card. So I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but it's going to keep coming up until it's something that you're willing to accept. And definitely don't forget to like the video and comment if you have anything to say. Queen of my world. It's like the temptation. There's something that's tempting you that is definitely not for you. It's giving devil energy. It's not for you whatsoever. But you're so focused on it. You're so determined to make it work. And it's like, why are you persevering after something that isn't even interested in you? That doesn't even want what's good for you? And it could be a person or a thing. It could be a job. Like, you're so pining after this college that you're applying to, or you're so pining after this specific job in this corporation. And it's like, do you realize that if you do get that thing or that person, how much destruction it's gonna bring for you? Like, you may not be fully aware, but like, you're so focused on this thing and the universe is not giving it to you, and you're like, okay, maybe if I just work harder, maybe if I just do this, maybe if I just do more, and you're killing yourself pining after this thing. And it's like, all that energy is going towards something that if you were to get it, you would not be happy. And you may not know that, but you have to trust and recognize that the universe knows what's best. And a lot of you need to reconnect with your spirituality, reconnect with your spirit guides, reconnect with your intuition. Sit still and meditate. And if not meditate, just ask the universe a good question and just sit there and wait and see what comes through. Don't force it. Don't try to force your mind to say something. Don't, try to, but just receive. And whatever is you receive, that you feel, whatever you hear, whatever you see, whatever like clears that you are tapped into, allow that to come through, and like just allow it. Some of you aren't allowing the message, the answer to come through. You might be like, it's almost like someone who has a boulder on the top of a hill, and they're trying with all their energy to push it, and you're like putting all this energy into trying to push it by yourself, and all the while you're like, universe, why aren't you helping me? Why can't you send someone to help me with this? Why blah 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 blah? And you're sending all these words and all these energies into the universe, but at the same time you're still trying to push it by yourself. And the universe might be trying to tell you, but you're completely ignoring it. You're completely blocked out to it because you're not in tune with that frequency. And so you're trying and trying and trying and trying, and it's like you tire yourself out. You drive yourself to exhaustion, dehydration, and you eventually just collapse. And it's in that point where you're completely weak and you're completely broken down that the universe finally is like, I was trying to tell you that that's not the boulder that you're meant to move. Like, it could be that it's like 5 feet, 20 feet, 100 feet away, there's a much smaller boulder that you can push, but you're so focused on this big thing because it's what everyone else has, or it's what, like, it's the ultimate thing, and it's like, that's not even for you. You're not strong enough for that yet. I have something completely different for you, so that in a few months, in a few years, you can get to the point where you can push down that boulder, but that is not for you right now in this moment. So for some of you, it's not even that the universe is telling you no, never. It's that the universe is saying no, not right now. Or there's something that you have to go through right now. So for someone here, it might be that you want a specific job, but your mindset as it is right now, your personality as it is right now, isn't going to allow you to thrive in that environment. It could be that that environment is super ruthless, super cruel, super strict, and as the person that you are right now who hasn't experienced certain things, you would go into that environment and someone would say something and you would be absolutely crushed without even, like, no, you don't have any walls or any armor to protect you. And the universe is saying, yes, I can bring you to there, but you're not ready for it yet. And a lot of us are trying and trying and trying so hard to overcome what the universe is saying we're not ready for yet, and ignoring that and taking it as like something that's wrong or evil, or like, how could you say that to me, universe? Like, of course I'm no. Trusting that when the universe says that you're not ready for this, you're not ready for this, and it's not an insult to you. It is saying that we just have to go through a few more steps first before you can get there, right? Recognizing that a denial might just be a delay, or it might be a redirection, and you have to be humble enough to accept that and move in that direction, or else, like I said, you're gonna just keep tiring yourself out trying to go in a direction that's not even meant for you. All right, let me see anything else. Triumph of lies. Triumph of lies. Triumph of lies. It's like being in this, like being so deluded. And I know we're in this energy of like being Delulu, right? And feeding our delusions, which in one way makes sense in terms of quantum leaping, but also not. Like, some of us are delusional to the point of going after something that's completely wrong. Like, it's like you have put this lie or this delusion so high on a pedestal, on an altar and you have made it to be your truth when it's not. So I started off this video saying that, you know, I was trying to do pick a card readings because it's popular on YouTube. It's what a lot of people subscribe to. It's what a lot of people align with. And I tried to do it and I was just like, you know, like this is a lot for me, and it may be that I'm just not ready for it yet. It may be that maybe a few months down the line I'll be able to do it. But also just the way that my messages flow, I don't flow with multiple different piles. I feel like a lot of different things come out in my single readings already, and trying to kind of break it up just like diverts my energy way too much. And I have to be okay with that. It's a lot more stressful for me personally to do pick a card readings, and even though it's working for everyone else, it's not working for me. And I have to recognize and be humble enough to be like, you know what, it doesn't feel energetically right for me, and I have to be okay with that I just have to do something different. And I have to be true to myself by doing the videos and the readings that make sense for me. And if not a lot of people watch them, so be it. But at least I'm operating in myself, in my place of authenticity, you know? All right, next pile. Let's do the herbal astrology deck. Okay, so we have Elder, which is wisdom. So again, subscribing to the wisdom of your, I was gonna say of your elders, of your ancestors, of your spirit guides, like tapping in a little bit deeper. A lot of you, I'm not saying this in a way that like, oh, I'm superior or in any way whatsoever, but a lot of you are so busy trying to find the answers externally, and I feel like I've graduated from this a little bit. There are still things like I might look up, but I don't really watch a whole lot of tarot videos. There are like 2 or 3 people that I truly trust on YouTube that I will watch. And that isn't to say that all the other tarot readers are bad whatsoever, but it's just like, I know what energy aligns with me. I know what videos align with me. I know what makes sense to me. And I can't allow myself to listen to every single person because not everyone is for me, right? And so a lot of you might be going to all the different videos that confirm your biases, and you might be clicking on all the titles that confirm what you that lie right, that triumph of lies, that you're looking for all the things that confirm your lie, and or you're looking for all the things that are saying what you want to hear. And it took me so long last year specifically, because when I first started getting into tarot videos, I was listening to every single one, and then within like 2 weeks I got so bored. I was like, everyone is saying the same exact thing, and at first I took that as a sign that that was exactly the message for me. That's why I'm hearing all the same message, until I realized, like, no, it's because I'm looking for all the videos that align with what I want to hear, and what I want to hear is not the truth. I want to hear what makes me happy or what makes me, you know, comfortable, but I'm not hearing the things that are, you know, pulling me out into the truth, where it's uncomfortable, where it's hard, where it's not going to be easy, and it's like, oh my god. You know, so I am all for encouraging and bringing out positive messages, and bringing hope, but a lot of the time we have to recognize that inner work and shadow work and parts work, all of these things are hard. You know, the healing, it doesn't come from, like, you can't heal something that's already healed. It's always going to be something that's wounded and broken, and you have to be willing to acknowledge your wounds and not simply cover them with band-aids, but actually put the salves and the herbs and all the difficult things that are going to bring excruciating pain. And you're gonna have to deal with that night and day until it closes up and heals properly. So yeah. So yeah, like, trust in yourself, trust in your intuition. And if you say, okay, I can't trust my intuition, maybe you might need a book or reading, 1 or 2 readings with me, with someone else, and find a little more clarity. But coming in tune with yourself is the most crucial thing. And I love most the readers and the energy readers and the people that I subscribe to specifically, who say, above all, yes, I'm saying this, I'm a channel, but you need to trust yourself. Those are the people I trust most, because everyone else is going to give you a little bit feel-goody things that will keep you coming back. If this is the only video you watch, so be it. I want you to come away with it with healing. And healing is a process. It isn't an instant thing, but I want you to jumpstart your own healing and your own abundance for yourself. Not so you can like keep coming back and watching my videos, not so you can keep coming back for a feel-good message. Sometimes you'll get that and sometimes you won't, but it's all about you. It's about your choices, your decisions, the consequences of your decisions, and living with that and working with that and forgiving yourself for those decisions, and recognizing that you are still redeemable, and recognizing that you can only get better if you want to get better. You can only heal if you want to heal. Okay, I'm gonna continue now. This is already a really long video. We have cannabis, detachment. Again, with what I was saying earlier, detaching from the outcome. You hear it time and time again, and it becomes like, oh my God, this is so overused. And it is, it truly is, but it's true. Detach from the outcome. Stop focusing so much on, okay, universe, this is what I want, you have to give it to me this way. Or like, do you know how many things over the course of this trip that I took that I was like, I want this, I want this, I want this. And I was so adamant about, this is what I want. And literally the universe at like the most random times just made those things crumble. And I really had to come into myself and be like, do I really want this? Or is it just because I've seen it on Instagram and it seems cool? Do I really want that? Is that really something, like, for example, homesteading is something I really do want, but it's like, I don't want it right now. Is it something that, am I gonna want to work with animals? No, I don't. I don't want, like, as much as the idea of having a whole farm is nice, I don't want to wake up at 6 well, I already wake up at 6 in the morning, but I don't want to wake up early in the morning just to milk a cow. And like, I don't. I much rather be in my apothecary. I much rather be drinking teas and reading books and gaining knowledge and teaching and sharing. And that's where I find peace, right? And so I'm like, universe, align me with what will allow me to do that every single day and find joy in that every single day. I wanted to give another example, but I'm gonna move on. Detach, 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 detach. Okay, then we have a bunch of cards that I keep falling out now. Let me see one more time. Detachment. Okay. I think I'm being told to detach from this this deck. Normally I don't really take a lot of cards flying out in that way, but today it feels like, you know, once they start going awry, it's done. So I'm going to listen. And again, like I was saying, recognizing how you flow each day. So this in particular with my readings, I don't always look at cards flying out like that, but today in particular, that's how it feels, and I'm going to honor that. Honoring how you feel, honoring your emotions. We have sabda, clarity. So a lot of you need to withdraw within yourselves, withdraw to a specific place, and just come into your truth. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of people feel like it has to be some grand retreat or some like several hours of meditating. Sometimes it may not come as quickly, right? It may come in like several days, it may come in several weeks, and it may not be that easy, but just allowing yourself to go within sometimes, less time stressing, less time worrying, and just let your thoughts flow. Just recognize, like, letting your thoughts flow, not the thoughts of worry, not the thoughts of stress, but like, you'll just, when I know Christians say like the still small voice, but it really feels like that sometimes. Like, it'll just be a random, like, I'll just be like, okay, universe, I want to make more money, how do I do that? And I'll just get the most random idea. And honestly, I've accepted now that when I get random ideas or random inclinations towards things, that's my intuition, that's my spirit guides. Because, you know, for example, being like, just driving, my thoughts are going every which way about every little thing, and then I look, I'm like, oh yeah, I really wanted to get some new, I wanted to, these pants are really cute, but they're also really tight, and I really want some looser clothing in my, go to Goodwill. I was thinking of going to Walmart originally, like a few days ago, and now it's like, oh yeah, I could just thrift it, you know? I can't really explain it, but it just feels like the most random things sometimes are literally the answer, the response. Doing the thing that makes you happy and that is effortless to you is most likely where your purpose lies. Okay. Again with this deck, I actually think I have said all I needed to say. I was going to get into the tarot deck, but I think everything that needed to come out came out. So I am going to leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me. And oh, okay, so these two cards just fell out of the top. So we have Cloud Meditation, Look Up, and Conjuring, Legacy. So again, with the Conjuring energy, connecting with your spirit guides, your ancestors on a mental plane, connecting with your higher self and other quantum versions of yourself. But also for some of you, it's time to get into a place of recognizing your legacy. For some of you, you may be in this kind of like right now moment, and your spirit guides and your angels need you to shift and be on your purpose. Your purpose has a purpose on this earth. It's meant not only for you, but also for generations to come, and they need you to start looking at your purpose and your divine calling, because you're wasting time. That's for someone in particular, but that's the last message that is coming through. And again, with Cloud Meditation, looking up, again, as I was saying, look up, look to your higher self, look to your guides, look for guidance within yourself first before looking externally. So that is everything I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next video.